Shields up, Ironbreakers. We're here coming at you with another edition of the Conscast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Iceborne because, as you can imagine, we received 2 new teases for weapons in Iceborne, and this time around, it is the Lance and the Gunlance. Before we begin, as per usual, I'd like to give a special shout out to Reddit user Duke Lukewarm for providing translations once again. I'm going to be linking all of his Reddit threads in the pinned comment in this video. If you do Reddit at all, go in there, give this man all of your karma. He deserves it. Thank you very much. But let's get started with the Lance. Okay, so Lance, as you guys can imagine, this is one of the weapons that I really like because it pretty much embodies the playstyle of the Ironbreaker, of standing your ground against overwhelming odds, taking everything that the monster can dish out at you and dish it right back at him. And I think that the Lance is looking pretty damn sweet from what we've seen right here. So, from the get-go, we're going to have to take it slow at the very start here because they show us a lot of stuff. So, this that he is going into right here, is this the counter? This is the Clutch Claw counter that you're going to be able to do with the Lance, which you're going to be able to do this from a new stance that you'll be able to put yourself in. As you guys know, there's now the Super Guard stance. I forget what the actual name of it is. It's Power Guard. There's going to be a different stance, which is going to be the Guard Shot. And when you are in that guard shot stance, you will be able to set up a Clutch Claw counter, which you guys can see right here. The Clutch Claw is in position to perform the counter, and the only difference is usually when you're in Power Guard, the monster goes through you, you take no damage, or you can do the counter stance where you do a little counter to the monster. Well, with this particular stance, you do a counter where after you get hit while doing this, you will launch your Clutch Claw at the monster and you will cling onto it. It is important to note that while you are doing this, your stamina is getting drained, very much like Power Guard. Then in here you see just a regular counterattack, and there is we kind of missed that one. Like I said, stuff goes really fast in this video for the Lance. So what is happening here is a slinger burst shot from a guarded position. So when you go into the guard shot stance, you can actually shoot and be shielding at the same time. And when you shoot whilst shielding, you also are doing slinger burst, which is pretty damn sweet. And then you just see like a regular charge coming out of there. I don't know what the name of that charge is, but it's the one that after you block, you like leap forward and move. I actually don't know the names of a lot of the moves now that I remember. Like, I know the moves, I don't know the exact names of them. Now, as you can see here at the very start of the video, he goes into the guard shot stance, but he switches and goes into regular shots. So you can actually alternate between the types of shots that you fire when you have the Lance. So right here, you're going to see a single shot coming out right there. It's not slinger burst, it's single shot. I believe that when you do single shots, you are not going to be blocking. In order to block, you're going to be doing slinger bursts. Because as you can see, the shield is off to the side. This is clearly not a blocking position. And then he's going to go back into blocking. Okay, he's just going to do a regular Lance charge. Now here is when we get to see him actually using the slinger burst shots. Pow! And notice that the Baroth counters, and he is still blocking. Pam gets blocked. And boom, another slinger burst knocks the Baroth out and goes in for the counter. That is just a regular Clutch Claw, so you can just do Clutch Claws regularly with the Lance. So it is not limited to the counter thing in order to get Clutch Claw. The Clutch Claw finisher looks good. It's not as cool as the Hunting Horn. I mean, Hunting Horn has the coolest Clutch Claw finisher we've seen so far by a long shot. Now here I believe that he is going to be showing us the Clutch Claw counter. You see it right there? Into the counter. Gets countered. Dude, that looks cool as hell, by the way. And then just grapples on and smacks it. I'm getting a lot of artifacting. Like, I really wish these videos had a little bit more bitrate. And then he finishes it off by doing the flinch shot. I believe that is what they call it. It's either the flinch shot or the cling shot. I forget what they call that one. Let's watch that again in full speed. There you go. Clutch counter. I love the fact that he gets thrown flying back and then he picks it back up. So that right there, he did the thing where he punches the monster with the claw in order to turn him 90 degrees, right? Watch the claw punch coming in. You can see the claw fully extended. Bam! Punches him in the face. That's going to turn him 90 degrees towards the wall. And then cling shot into the thing. Again, I don't know if it's cling shot or flinch shot, but it's the one where you unload all of your slinger ammo into a monster's face, and it just sends him reeling, and that is friggin' awesome. I think the lance is looking really good in terms of the new moves that it gets. I think that slinger burst from a guarded position is going to be a lot of fun. I think that the clutch claw counter is a lot of fun. It definitely looks like a lot of fun. And I like the clutch claw finisher too. I think it looks good. So yeah, lance definitely in a solid position. But then we go to one of my main weapons, the Gunlance. Okay, so the Gunlance is going to be all about jabbing strange objects into monsters and making them explode. And I'm okay with that because if you guys remember the very early footage of Monster Hunter World, one of the first things that we saw about the Gunlance was the worm stake. And that was one of my favorite new moves because they literally just jab that thing into a Jagras' face. And then it just goes and it blows up in his face. I started calling that one the nostril blaster because that thing was just like straight up in the great Jagras' nose. And I loved watching that. So seeing the fact that they're doubling down on that particular mechanic in Iceborne is something that I really, really like. Now, what you guys are seeing right here is the Worm Stake Blast. This is going to take all of your slinger ammo and load it into the Gunlance. And depending on the type of ammunition that you put in there, as well as how much remaining ammunition you have on your slinger, that is going to determine the amount of time the Worm Stake Blast is going to be wedged into the monster. You can see him just doing a couple of shells here, and then you can see him unloading the Worm Stake Blast, which it appears that it's just going to be a charge that is going to be placed on top of the Worm Stake. And it's like we're putting explosives on top of this thing that was already exploding, and it's beautiful because not only it's going to explode, but it will keep exploding when you shoot it with shells after it's been attached to the monster, as you guys will see in the video, and it is so freaking awesome. Then you see a wyvern fire, of course, because that's the thing that you got to do. So you can see that you can fire your slingers from unsheathed position like every other weapon, and it looks like you're getting a single shot, not a burst shot. As a matter of fact, they do not show any burst shots with the Gunlance in this video, so potentially, like my suspicions for the hunting horn, maybe these two weapons are not getting slinger bursts. But, you know, it is what it is. What else are we going to get here? Right there, there's the Clutch Claw move. The Clutch Claw finisher appears to be a charged shell, which means that the Gunlances, if you guys see right there, he's charging the shell off screen, and then he just unloads it, which makes me believe that potentially the long Gunlances are going to be the ones that will deal the most damage in terms of the Clutch Claw finisher, but I personally don't do a lot of long shelling Gunlance, so I'm probably not going to be doing that a whole lot. But the Gunlance that they're using, if it follows with the regular Gunlances that we have in World, is going to be a normal shelling Gunlance. Right there, he's loading up the, the Worm Stake Blast. And now he's going to stab it. Looks like it stabs just like the Worm Stake, which you shell twice and then the third one and it comes and it remains attached there. And now notice the detail that they're going to do in the video, because they're going to shell it once regularly. Boom. And it gets a little explosion, right? Now they're going to charge it up. Boom. And it gets a bigger explosion. And after that, they're going to charge it up even more with a wyvern fire. Boom. and you get an even bigger explosion. So basically, the way the Wormstick Blast is going to work is you're going to jab it into the monster, depending on the type of ammunition, again, and how much ammunition you have in your slinger, it is going to increase the amount of time that thing stays attached to the monster. And then the more powerful the shell that you unload onto it, the more damage it is going to deal. So to be completely honest, I'm not entirely sure which of the types is going to be the best in order to do this, but I think it actually might balance out, because if the Wormstick Blast is going to stay there for a determined period of time, then potentially if you're using Slam Burst, you can unload like I think it's 6 shells that you can currently do with Slam Burst. You can unload just 6 shells into that thing and you get 6 small explosions. Or you can do a charged shell and you can get 1 big explosion. And if you can get Wyvern's Fire on there, it is going to be pretty sweet. I think this is going to be very good for breaking specific monster parts. You know, like, oh, I want to bust up a head, you know, jab that thing into the monster's head, then make it explode. And it just looks so nice. And now that we watched this video, it makes a lot more sense that the Gunlance is shown alongside weapons like the Sword and Shield, Dual Blades, and all of that stuff in the effects that it has from the Clutch Claw attack. Because instead of weakening a monster body part, you're going to be getting ammunition from that monster, because you're going to need that ammunition to load into the Wormstick Blast. As you guys can see right here, that ammunition is going to come out from the body of the monster if you do the Clutch Claw finisher. And again, you're going to load that up into your Gunlance. And again, you're going to load that up into your Gunlance in order to get that Wormstick Blast powered up so that you can then jab the monster with it. And by the way, I cannot emphasize enough how much I like the fact that we're basically getting a stake chock full of explosives wrapped into the monster. Like, that thing just looks friggin' amazing. But anyway, that is pretty much it for the new moves on the Lance and the Gunlance. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, hit it up with a like. If you didn't enjoy the video, hit it up with a dislike. If you are new here, if you like my content, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon. Stay strong, and may your shields never break.